everybody. Welcome to another episode of Coming Up Milhouse, where the three of us actually just watched episode 7 from season 4. It's called Marge Gets a Job.
That's right. So, his job is done. He's leaving. So as the title says, Marge decides that she needs to get a job because the house is sinking on one end. There's some structural issues with the foundation, and they need $8,500 to fix it. Of course, they don't have all that.
No, they only have $500.
Which means they need 80 more, right?
They need 800 more.
800 more.
Is what Elmer says.
Yeah. And so Marge gets a job at the nuclear power plant, which is, of course, where Homer works. So there's a little bit of tension there.
Yep.
But you know what? It is what it is, and funny things happen, and that's what we got going on with this episode. So let's kick this guy off with our first line. What is your first line?
You might remember me from such instructional videos as mothballing your battleship and dig your own grave and save. And that, of course, was my favorite guy, Troy McClure.
I'm not surprised at all.
It's from his video, The Half-Assed Approach to Foundation Repair.
Yeah.
So, yep, because Homer watched the Troy McClure video and was trying to figure out how to fix
that whole scene was hilarious because he couldn't understand a word Troy McClure was saying. He's like, use a lacquer, use a lag bolts, and he didn't know what the heck he had.
Get your plaster trough, boy.
Yeah.
Bart. I don't know.
Yeah. And he's like, if you don't, use aluminum certain screws. I can't remember, but Homer could not make heads or tails out of any of that.
So it was going to be an expensive fix for them.
Yep. Good one.
Mm-hmm.
Always loved Troy McClure. Alright, so my first line is, to his friend he's known as Monty, but to you he's Mr. Burns.
From the
retirement party. So
Smithers' song.
Yeah, so there's this guy retiring from the plant, and they have a party for him.
And we don't know what his name is.
Enough about this guy.
No one cares.
But then Smithers was like, I prepared a special song for the occasion, and then there's this big number, and you think it's about the guy,
right? And
the whole song is about Mr. Burns.
And the guy thinks it's about the guy, and he's all thrilled.
And he's like,
this is such a nice cinema. You go with your number 2.
All right, well, my number 2 is actually from Grandpa.
Yep.
It is? All right.
Go for it.
Good news, boy. I found a pharmacy that sells leeches. Well, it wasn't exactly a pharmacy, more of a bait shop.
Have it written down right there. And I had a feeling you were going to go for it, so I let you take that one.
Thank you,
and I will go with, thou shalt not horn in on thy husband's racket. With Homer quoting the Bible, with Marge getting a job at the power plant with him. He says, thou shalt not horn in on thy husband's racket. This is clearly in the Bible somewhere.
Yeah, as if that's going to convince her not to do it, yeah.
No, and so then she asks him, where in the Bible does it say racket? Oh, boy.
And my line had to do with Bart was faking being sick, so he didn't have to take a test. And Grandpa has been watching him because Marge has been at work.
Right.
And that was Grandpa's reply to Bart's sickness.
Grandpa had a lot of remedies that he was trying. Like the one day Bart was homesick from taking the test and had the mouth thermometer, but Grandpa didn't believe that it was accurate to go in the mouth. So, ... you can figure out where
it was going.
And the leeches.
Yeah. Oh, love it.
And that whole thing, so there was a subplot that was basically the boy who cried wolf, that Bart really just wasn't prepared to take a test, and he kept coming up with excuses, and his stomach kept bothering him, and he kept getting away with going home because Grandpa was watching them. So that was pretty good too.
But he had to get leeches for it, so there's that. All right, let's go into scenes. You want to do your scene?
Sure. So my scene, I'm going to go with, they are sitting at the dinner table and they're talking about Marge getting a job at the power plant, and Lisa's excited and she says, oh, it'll just be like the Curies, Pierre and Marie Curie. And Homer says, what? Who are they? You know, what did they do? And, oh, they found radium and died of radiation poisoning. And Bart has a vision of the Curies, and they are Godzilla-sized, and they're shooting lasers out of their eyes and attacking things and ripping out skyscrapers out of the ground. And
it's like that one guy's vision. Like, it's the Curies! It's like, it was like a Godzilla.
Yes, it was great. So
run, it's the Curies!
Oh, the imagination.
So good.
What about your favorite scene?
Mine has got to be the funny hat day and Tom Jones music. So Marge gets the job and Mr. Burns is talking to her and he's like, oh, morale's so bad around here. Well, you got any ideas? And Marge is like, well, what about a theme like funny hat day? Oh, and when I'm feeling bad, I listen to Tom Jones. Why don't you pipe some of that? And then it cuts. Well, it shows these people that are distraught. Yeah. They're, so
morale is bad.
They're crying and
drinking
drinking, and one guy's got a shotgun and he's like, I'm the angel of death. And then it cuts and they all got stupid hats on and you hear Tom Jones, what's new, pussycat? Whoa, whoa. And they're still drinking. The guy still got the shotgun. He's like, ah.
But he's wearing a beanie with a little helicopter twirling. It was great.
And then it cuts back, and you know how Mr. Burns has all those TV monitors for the cameras, and you can see the guy with the shotgun get up and start walking away like he's going to go use it. Yeah. It's insane.
It didn't boost morale, is what we're saying.
But they got funny hats. That's
a good scene.
All right, it takes us to winners and losers. How would you like to do that?
Well, I'm going to go with my loser first.
Yeah, who's your loser?
Tom Jones. Because Marge loves Tom Jones, and Mr. Burns is interested in Marge, but doesn't realize that she's not a single employee. So he sends Smithers to go and pay Tom Jones to come and serenade Marge at a dinner that he would like to have with her. And Smithers shows up with a briefcase full of money, and Tom Jones says, no, I don't do private shows anymore. And then Smithers says, well, in that case, check out this briefcase, and opens another briefcase that has a poisonous smoke cloud that comes out. And then it segues later that Tom Jones is performing for Marge on the stage, but he is shackled to the stage and clearly has been kidnapped against his will. So he's my loser of the episode.
That is a very good one, and he definitely did not fare well.
No, and also I'm probably a loser of this episode because Tom Jones it's not unusual, gets stuck in my head on a regular.
It does. It is not a song that works well for.
And so it's going to be stuck in my head for days. Good luck.
Oh boy, here we go. We'll have to play it to get it out of your head.
I know.
Yeah. All right, well, my loser is a simple one, and it's Lenny. And because there's this party where they're at the plant where they're all supposed to be dressed up as cowboys, and Lenny shows up as the Fonz, and he's like, hey. And then Carl's like, you're in the wrong costume. The 50s day is next week.
Wednesday.
And he's like, oh man, I gotta go home and change.
And then, vroom, 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 we hear the motorcycle and Lenny rides away. He was taking that part very seriously.
Yeah, he wanted to be the Fonz. So,
yep.
Yeah. So that was Lenny.
50s Spirit Day to the max.
What about your winner?
Willie,
yeah.
Willie's my winner.
Oh, yeah.
Because Willie kind of saves Bart. I mentioned the boy who cries woof side story that's happening, and Krusty just happens to have an exotic animal handler on the show, and on the Krusty show, there's a Timberwolf that shows up, and the handler says, don't terrify it with loud noises, and loud is the word of the day. And so balloons and, all these bangs, and the Timberwolf goes a little bit crazy and breaks its chain and escapes and shows up at the school. And so Bart's in the hallway taking his test, but the Timberwolf shows up, and so he is almost getting attacked, and he's jumping up in the window, woof, 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 and Mrs. Krabappel doesn't believe him.
He cried wolf for real.
I know, so it goes along with that. But Willie's my winner, because here comes Willie, and he says, hey, woof, and he's jacked, he's completely ripped, and then he starts wrestling the wolf. And then we find out that Willie has been wrestling wolves since he was 4 years old. So he's my winner in this episode, because he wrestled a wolf to submission, and that wolf and him were sharing a snack.
Right.
At the end of
that
he's
scene,
like,
here's a little nip of the whiskey or whatever he had, scotch or whatever. And the wolf's like,
yep.
But yeah, Willie was a beast in that one, man. All right, well, my winner is somebody kind of tough too, and it is the donut guy.
Nice.
so another part of Marge's thing is they want healthy. Yeah, let's get healthy snacks in here. That'll make people happy.
Yep.
And then they're like, don't take away our donuts. And the mob goes to the donut guy, and he's got this box of donuts in a chain. And he's like, stand back, whom, and he knocks one of them over, and they're all like, whoa. And this guy's like, just chaining them to get them away from the donuts. And I'm like, dang, that is some donut guarding expertise, buddy. You rock. You win. So that was my guy.
Excellent. So watch the episode so you have a clue what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Because Marge getting a job, Timberwolves, and Donut Guys, it all works in this episode.
You got it. Yes, it was an episode to remember for sure.
Absolutely. If you haven't subscribed and you would like to, give us a subscribe in the corner over here. Give us a like, thumbs up. Feel free to make your comments. Send us some questions, anything that you'd like to let us know, feel free to do that, and we would be happy to get back to you. Mm-hmm. This was another episode of Coming Up Milhouse, again, Season 4, Episode 7. Next week we will bring you Episode 8 in Season 4, so feel free to watch along with us on Disney Plus if you have it, on Hulu, on DVD, wherever you can find The Simpsons.
That's right. And you will find us again next week. Thanks again for tuning in. We really appreciate it. And until then, Jiminy Jillikers.